it's Nick Sims, and this is our speed build Stilted Getaway. In this home, it is actually, as the title suggests, a home on stilts, and it's modern. It's not a cabin or something like that, something that you'd see in the middle of the woods, and normally homes you'd see on stilts or cabins, unless you're like at a beach home or something like that. So this home has 2 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. The master bedroom is on the second floor, and the guest bedroom is on the first floor in a completely separate section of the house. The floor plan is completely open. That means that the kitchen, living room, and dining area all kind of flow into one large room. There's lots of big windows in this home, so that helps bring a lot of exterior light into the home and brighten up the walls. I used a white wall in majority of the home, and I'll have accent walls within it. The downstairs room actually has a little bit of wood in there that's on the exterior of the home, kind of bringing that outside in. It took me a long time to get the layout of this home. I didn't really know how I wanted it to look. I did know I wanted a home on stilts, but I was kind of confused about how I'd go about doing that. And that first floor, I wanted to make sure that I could get on the at least a portion of the home underneath it so that it looked a little bit more realistic. I ended up changing the layout of this home quite a few times during the build process, or closely more around the end whenever I was working on that downstairs guest bedroom, because I wanted to make it bigger, so I had to adjust the upstairs a little bit, and that just got a little hairy at times because I didn't know how I wanted to do that. And another thing I found I struggled with in this home was decorating it. I didn't know what kind of color scheme I wanted to have in the home. I did want the white in there because it's light, and just trying to find matching furniture and rugs and everything, it was kind of hard. And you'll see that during the building it was pretty hard, especially my biggest struggle was a rug in the living room, and I ended up just scrapping the living room, I think, at one point and starting all over again. So I was just experimenting with a couple of the windows and kind of seeing what I wanted to have on them, and I settled for these ones that came with, I believe, the Get Together stuff pack. And if not, yeah, the Get Together stuff pack. I was about to say Apartment Life, but yeah, no, it's the Get Together. So I used a wood on the exterior of the walls, and I did it dark because even though the home's modern and the home's on, stilts, I still kind of wanted to give that earthy, woodsy feel to it. And the roofing, I always end up doing this kind of style roofing, as you can probably tell if you're looking at the side homes that are already built there, how they all have that similar kind of roof. I decided, since I was filling up New Crest with homes, that I wanted to kind of keep the same vibe throughout each little neighborhood. So this obviously is the modern section, which will have 2 1-bedrooms. The first 2 homes that I built were 1-bedrooms. This one is a 2-bedroom, and I'll probably do a 3 and a 4, just because one of the lots on here is extremely large, and that one I guess will be the one with the pool. Or I could end up putting a community lot on the larger lot that's here. Probably like maybe a community pool or a spa, because none of these homes have a pool. They're pretty much too small, or I just didn't really think to put one in, especially with this lot. It's big enough to have a pool in it, and I didn't do it because I wanted to keep the stilts on there, and I felt like if I put a pool, it wouldn't work out too well. So I turned the stilts on the home to a wood, vertical pillars really is for the vertical pillars on there to make it seem as if it's a separate portion of the home. And the foundation I raised up as well so I could get that second set of stairs on there. I do really miss the freezes that you had in The Sims 3, but that's in the past, and I'm pretty sure they'll at some point bring us something that's really good. So this is kind of the final layout that it ends up being, and I'll change it up a little bit later with the master bedroom and then the downstairs room. And as I said, I struggle with decorating this home, and this kitchen is also part of it. So I have the kitchen in this one color, and that'll change. I think I changed this kitchen up about 3 times. I'll add a bunch of cabinets in, and then I'll remove it, and I change the chairs that are in here. First I start off with these green ones, and then I'll remove them and put what are they, the metal ones, once I change the cabinets. That table kind of stays the same for the dining room, except the chairs go blue instead of that green. So the initial color I put on the walls was this light blue with the baseboard and crown molding around the top throughout the house. And then I was like, you know what? Let's go with something completely white. And you'll see me change that later. This right here is me struggling, trying to get a rug in here. Oh, gosh, we need more rugs. And while these are pretty, they're not, I think we need more square ones that help with defining the living room. And I'll go back for this rug and change it about 3 times, and I'll build the entertainment section on the wall that I'm putting these curtains on. And for first I think it's fine, and I'm like, no, actually it's really not. So here I am just scrapping the kitchen because I didn't like that cabinet and how it had no texture to it. And this one I love because it has that wood grain on the top and that initial color, and then I changed it to this darker kind of grayish purple and light gray on the bottom. And this is me putting the metal chairs in. And then since I don't have green on that other chair, I decided to change all those dining room chairs as well. And I keep on looking at this one section because I don't know what I'm going to do with that little tiny area right there. So I chuck a foosball table in, and I had once gone up to the mountains and stayed in a cabin where it had a foosball table, a pool table, a hot tub on the exterior, and I was like, well, it's always good to have a little entertainment thing, and instead of putting a piano in, as I'm so prone to do, I just went ahead and put that foosball table in. So this is me changing everything up again in the living room. As I said, I'm struggling with that, and that dining room pretty much stays the same the way it is, other than me adding a couple of plants in there. And then I start with the accent walls, and I put that wood in there, and then I'm like, you know what, that would be really good if all the walls were white, just plain white, and the accent walls will be wood and then just some other colors. So I start off with this orange, and I'm like, no, that doesn't look good, and then I change it to blue, and then I move the blue to the dining room so that it will help make the room flow, so that blue travels a little bit. And then I put wood obviously on the wall that faces the balcony. And I just removed all the placeholder lights, and I'm just filling up the house with other lighting that's just not all the same, and kind of create a mood lighting in the house. I end up having to chuck a bunch of those wall lights behind the cabinets because it's still a little bit too dark. As you can see, it's probably kind of hard for you to see, but um, it'll lighten up in a little bit. And since I put that range hood over there, I had to try and figure out a way to make the cabinets work around it. So I used the smaller cabinets around it. And since these walls are the middle height on these walls on the second level, it makes it a little bit easier to add that particular range hood in. I changed the kitchen floors to this blue tile or marble, and then extend the kitchen because I kind of want to have a section where you make your coffee and popcorn and ice cream, and normally in your regular sized kitchen it won't fit and nothing will fit on that whole area, so I had to like just wrap it around the wall just a little bit so that it could actually get in there. So this is me just adding the cabinets to the top and trying to figure out how the layout of how I wanted them to look. And then, okay, I did change the floors again. Alright, yeah, I changed them to the slate because the blue really didn't flow too well with the room. So it stays at slate, I promise. And then I removed the one chair that's kind of encroaching in the living room and extend the wall. And then I'm just wondering what I'm going to do with that living room because I don't like it. It doesn't look good. So I'm adding the popcorn and the ice cream maker, and then I will start shoving a bunch of items on the walls so that it can fill it up and make it seem like a used home. So I add some pots, and then I add the stirrers that are hanging from a metal rack. It takes me a while to find it. We have so many items in here. And I always keep on forgetting to just go in and look for all the miscellaneous items because it helps bring a little bit of life, vibrancy, and just differentiation to all the homes that I'm building so they all don't look the same. I try not to use the same paintings, and so I stopped using, I think I used those, the desert and lush and snow ones, like in all my other homes, like 50,000 times, even multiple times in the room. So now, with these stuff packs and game packs, there's so much more, and it's wonderful. So the living room, this is me scrapping the living room because I realize that it does not look good, and I want that TV on the wall. I know that for sure. So then I'm like, well, what if I put some cabinets on it and make it a entertainment center? So I change it to this gray cabinets, and then I was trying to get them to a height where it kind of framed the television in. I liked those cabinets on the side, but I realized it kind of took away from the accent color of the wall. So I put these shelves in, and then I go through all of this section of the clutter and the miscellaneous items and the statues and just try to get stuff that will actually fit on the walls. I know I have move objects on and I could raise items up, but those items have a very bad habit of just disappearing once you reload the game, or when you load it up to that gallery, those items aren't even there anymore. So I just wanted to stick with items that actually go on the shelves. And as you'll see, it looks busy. I will remove some of the shelves, and I will remove a bunch of the items as well. Declutter the space, because at first I was like, well, I want to fit as much as I can on there to make it seem like, over time families have added a bunch of different items, and I think the real driving factor for me removing shelves was the plants. I couldn't get the plants on that. They were too tight. The shelves were too tight. And even though I stick these plants here on the ground, I'm going to remove them because it's just too much going on in this one section. It looks just dirty, is what it looks like. And then I add these lights as well, thinking that, oh, that looks fine, whatever. And then I'll just move on to the living room. I changed the floors again to a lighter wood. And because the floors that were in there were a little bit rustic, and I ended up using those floors on the exterior of the house. So this is the chair from one of the stuff packs that came out, and just I used this rug because it's white, plain, and I want the color focus to be the wall. Then I add windows because I realized that this wall area doesn't have very many windows on it. And then I just throw that painting in here that has that same kind of green that's on the wall and one of those Glamour Life photos. I believe it's Glamour Life. I think I'm saying this pack wrong. I cannot remember. So here's me decluttering. I am removing pretty much almost everything from up here and just spreading it out. And I removed all those lights. And yeah, so it's much clearer. And some lighting in this room. I like those chandeliers because they give off a lot of light and they're not that same round saucer. And I chucked that up on the wall so that we could have like a scoreboard, I guess, while you're playing games. I don't know. And then I chucked some chairs in so that your guests can have more seating while they're playing games, and then a little side table to help, like they can put their drinks on while they're playing as well. A couple of paintings. I did use this in my last build, I know, but I just can't help it. I love these paintings that are in the Apartment Life, I think it is. I don't think it's Apartment Life. I keep on screwing up the name titles. It's so bad of me. So this right here is me trying to figure out how the foyer is going to go. So I have to stick all the doors in so I can figure out exactly where I'm going to put my foyer table. Or some people call it foyer. Just really depends on however. It's like tomato and tomato. This was supposed to be just a half bath, but it was so big that I was like, you know what? Let's just make it a full bath, and I managed to fit a shower and a tub, so that's always good. So if you have guests that come over, or you have more than 2 Sims, because there are only other 2 bathrooms, so if you have like 2 couples in the house, there's another bathroom that somebody could come use while you're playing your game, so that you don't have to wait for somebody to finish. That's always good. I use that little paper mache kind of light fixture because it kind of gave off a little bit of a warm glow in the room. I am aware that I can adjust all the lighting on the lighting throughout the house if I go into live mode, but that's just too much work. I'd have to actually have my sim in here. And I only normally ever put sims in here whenever I have to take my afterwards photos. So I put that painting or the mirror on the wall, and then that wall art piece. That's a Day of the Dead statue and then a plant. And I removed that plant and actually add this flowers just to add a little bit of color in here. And roses, and to just drive a little bit of elegance into the house, even though it's supposed to be modern. I like to mix things up. And I put that big wine glass on the wall because, classy with that big of a wine glass. I put this runner in here, and I put in an orange because, I don't know, I really like that rug in that orange color. So this is me just taking a look at the progress I made. Gosh, there's so much more to go. At that point, I was like, maybe I made this home too big. But once you move from a 1-bedroom small little nook, then it's always going to be It's always going to seem daunting and big. So I'm trying to figure out a accent wall in this master bedroom. So like I said, decorating I struggled so hard in this house. As you can see, I just keep changing the colors, and I was like, well, maybe I can do a green and a brown, or and maybe the floors I didn't like because I felt like their colors didn't match the walls, or it kind of clashed with the walls because it's that mahogany color and then a brown, a kind of an orange brown, and it just wasn't working. So this is the color scheme, except I end up changing the blue and brown wall around because I end up moving that bed onto the wall, and instead of it being on a blue wall, I want it on the brown wall. I find that maybe I try to decorate with the furniture I want in the room first, and then color around that, because there's only so many colors that you can choose from. So, and I put that black and white photo on the wall, and then just some lights up against it to add a little depth. I wanted just a plain rug in here, so I ended up using one of the furry rugs. Yeah, I sized up the furry rug. And then on the wall above the doors and the, what is that called? Closet? The walk-in closet. There is, I put those arches there and then lights within them. I thought that was cute. I might try using that in another one of my houses in a different kind of way. And instead of having those modern lights, we might something a little more traditional. So the master bathroom actually has 2 showers and a tub, along with the double sink and 1 toilet. I found that there was just a lot of room in this area for me to be able to get that to work correctly. And I didn't know what else to put in there since we already had a closet in the actual master bedroom. So, and then I just end up chucking this photo on the wall, and yeah, so not too much in there. And then I move on to the patio. There's not very much to the patio. I just wanted a table and the grill, and then this one side table in case they need to cook on it, and they can just go inside and grab something from the kitchen if they need to. These 4 lights here to help brighten it out, and it'll be nice at night. And that's me putting that wood floor throughout all the exterior balconies. This small tiny balcony, I just end up putting 2 chairs and a table on it, and they're just facing the door, and the table kind of overlaps the chairs a little bit, but it doesn't glitch out, or it's kind of above it. So, and then this real pretty little yellow flower and a red item on the wall, the red wall piece. It's a little color. So this is me working on this downstairs room. And I get this bright idea in my head where I'm like, well, what if I make this downstairs room like a carriage house? Because normally carriage houses are above the garage. Carriage houses are not below the house. But I wanted to put my own little twist on that. So I started extending the bottom floor. So I was like, well, if I make the house bigger, then I need to make the balcony bigger. I need to make sure that I'm not extending the house further out than the second floor is. And it escalated from there and got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I tried to figure out how to put the wall in here, and then I realized, I was like, well, now you're going to have all this empty space with which you're not going to know what to do with. So I extend the top floor, copy the roof and extend it out, and then I move the bedroom into its own little nook. And I put these pillars in here, but I'll remove them because they're just too big. They took up too much room, and something smaller I think would have been better. And I forgot that this level was actually just a small height, wall height, so I had to end up changing the windows and making them a little different, but they look good. They're still wide and open and airy, so. And like I said, I wanted to make it like a carriage house, and here we are, adding a full kitchen. I was like, well, actually, at first, my first idea was, I'll just add a microwave. And I was like, well, you can't have a microwave without a fridge. And I'm like, well, if you're going to have a fridge, you might as well have a stove and a sink. So, and a dishwasher. So, it escalated. And I put the small little dining area with just 2 chairs and the TV on a stand and the living room chair there. So I ended up changing these walls up. Quite a bit. Instead of having you have the ability to walk to the bed on either side, just one, and I extend the kitchen, move a couple of things around, and then I start changing the wall because I put tile on this one wall, and then I'm like, well, I guess I could just go with a real light color. I was thinking about doing gray, and then I just realized that I had gray all over. So I put this blue color in here, but I keep some of the wood in there as well to keep a nice balance between the earthy tones and the light, airy tones. Change the floors to this light brown. I think it looks so much better than the dark floor that was in there. I chuck a couple of paintings in here and change the color of the bed. I kind of liked that salmon a little bit, and I kept the end tables on the side of the bed dark. Chucked a little painting, and I keep the overhead lights in here because I didn't want to go through the hassle of having to try and figure out the light to dark ratio of, lighting and whatever. I just felt like it was too much. So we're about done in here. Oh, I changed it to brown. Yeah, the brown looks better as a backsplash. And then the bathroom I changed to a light wood and blue floors, and I just put your basic bathroom amenities, sink, shower, and toilet. And then a mirror, some toilet paper, hand towel, and a bathrobe. And then a window so you could see. And I ended up furnishing the home or the exterior of the house off camera, but that's okay. So we're about to go into the screenshots. So that's the exterior of the house. There's your entryway, your kitchen with all the things in it. Your just dining room. I like it because it's just kind of empty. I like that you have a lot in the kitchen and the living room, and very little in the dining and game area. The outdoor porch, and that's the the hallway bathroom. That's your master bedroom. There's another view where you can see the wall, accent wall. That's your master bathroom right there with the paintings. And your balcony that goes right off of the entry of the home is your carriage house. And yeah, the home is available to download on the gallery. Just look up hashtag Nick Sims or hashtag Stilted Getaway. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you watched here. Just the last photo of the exterior of the home, and thank you for watching.